Good morning and hello to this wonderful tutorial here about Houdini 20, which just arrived last week with a bunch of amazing features and awesome stuff like you see here in the trailer of sidefx. And we have a lot of stuff that is new in this release, from the Ripple solver here that also now has the OpenCL access for the Verison programming improvements, and the Karma XPU render engine with the ocean integrations which render now faster. We have clouds, feathers, and so much more. And with this tutorial, I want to give a little overview of what you can do, of what is so new in this release, and why it's maybe one of the best and biggest releases in the industry of visual effects software. So I highly recommend to have a look at the Houdini 20 keynote, which is released by sidefx, with all the interesting looks into the feather tools, the animation tools, rigging tools like the muscles now, which have gone gold in terms of animation and procedural setups, the physical simulations with crowds and clouds, and Solaris and Karma, the hybrid real-time rendering engine from the Hydra delegates, and the geometry meshing and the terrain improvements. So as you can see, Houdini 20 ships now with the Vulkan feather tool system, which allows you to create very detailed feather groom systems on birds, characters, geometry, whatever you want to groom with feathers. And the integration to Karma and the XPU render engine is now highly improved and makes it so great to use this feature inside of the new release. Houdini 20 also ships with a brand new animation procedural system where you can use ragdolls and different kinds of character presets to animate your scene, and this takes animation and visual effects and 3D animation to a fairly high new level and a very great and interesting workflow. And we also have here the machine learning skinning with an interesting approach on muscle movements and muscle solver enhancements, which take skin jiggle and all the fat simulations to a new level. And this is also available on the content library, so you can directly check out those scenes and dive into the network and make your own changes and learn and understand how this is working. What's also now integrated and is enhanced over the time is the MLOps, the machine learning, the artificial intelligence learning in Houdini, which allows you to step-by-step make real-time effects and real-time skinning. This is something where I'm very granted that sidefx really approaches all the new technologies step by step and not in a flood of tools and integration. So they have a very cool and very decent approach to implement all those machine learning and artificial intelligence technology in further releases. So this is what makes me very happy, that they really depend not on day-by-day creations, but on things that have a long-term relationship with their software. So what also makes Houdini so powerful now is the cloud system that is also able to be rendered in Karma and in XPU. So you definitely also should check out the content library with new presets and assets where you can get your hands on. Houdini 20 also ships with a massive enhancement in the flip solver tools, where you now can integrate all the character and animation parameters. You see here that you have new approaches from the pressure, stretch, squish and surface scale of whitewater and the solver and the integration. Thanks to Igor Sanic for this awesome scene here. And this is what makes Houdini really so powerful with all the procedural approaches. Houdini now also has a arrow and targeting system for animation of arrows and projectiles, where you can easily create animations of zombie creatures and of hitting targets for crowd scenes. In that way, Houdini is permanently approaching and taking the feedback of clients and artists all over the world into account, which is a very liveful and exchangeable community that lives what they do. So Pyro and Smoke Solver pretty much got a lot of speed enhancement and can now be addressed also with the OpenCL node to code your own solvers and make the things more interactive. And sidefx wants to head more and more into the real-time realm of smoke and cloud and fire effects, explosions, like we already might know from other softwares like Ambergen or TerraGen or something that is also an awesome approach to real-time calculation. Karma, the Hydra delegate, got pretty much his own speed enhancement and is now able to also use the material library that makes it possible to pick materials right into the scene and shade your environment and your creations. So the XPU is definitely a game changer in the way we render and work with USD files, with the universal file format from Pixar that got a very big implementation now in Houdini 20. So here you can see the material linker and the material presets for Karma in Solaris. And it's a great way to interactively add and enhance your materials in the USD stage from Houdini with the power of the XPU rendering. Houdini also comes now with a LiDAR import for point clouds and all the, I think also Gaussian splatting that is shaking the industry with real-time rendering approaches of your environment. And as you can see how good the software can handle point clouds and create surfaces and mesh them and make them available for your for your production. What's also new and enhanced is the machine learning terrain generator from the sidefx labs. As you might know, the sidefx labs is a permanent and decent integration of new tools that really ship with every week, when not every day, of new configurations and setups you can use directly in your production. Also, Unreal integration and Onyx is a major release now in the new version, where terrain creation from height maps and from Google Maps scanned data can be used right into Houdini. And as you can see, you can create open world scenarios more and more easily. So the approach is really amazing, really marvelous, and makes also the game design ready for the future. So in the content library of sidefx, you really should check out the assets they provided here, with the creation for TopoFlow, for the machine learning deformer, the machine learning terrain, the bubble generator. We have now the integration of cloth made much more easier, skybox clouds for Karma, the eagle feather tool you also saw in the beginning of the trailer from sidefx in the sneak peek, the splash screen feathers, and so on. So it's the best way to dive right into the new functions and get a look and a view of what is possible and how it works under the hood. So here we are right in Houdini 20 with the splash screen feathers setup. And as you can see, everything here from the feathers starts with a single curve, which is then converted, carved, resampled, and the normals are changed to another direction. So you can really check this out on your own, as this tutorial only gives a few overviews of the massive extensions and news that Houdini 20 offers to the world. So let's jump right into the stage and see what it gives. You can see here that the feathers in the OpenGL port are really nice already in the 3D viewport, and when we go to the Karma settings in XPU engine, we can see that this is also now supported by the Karma XPU render engine. So the past trace samples are set already pretty high to 4069, and as you can see, the machine is rendering here, and we get very nice detail in also the noises on the edges. And here we have straight feathers with no noises applied. We also have no bending, and this is a really great implementation of feathers for characters and any other objects you want to groom with feathers. And the ability to real-time render and change your scene has dramatically increased. So let's turn this to maybe 128. And you can see here that in real time I can scrub through this creation, zoom in and give this a rendering shot. And this is just so much fun working with this new additions. And here we have also dome lights, distance light, and we can make it more dramatic, lowering the exposure. And in the dome light we can also insert another HDRI depending on your light situation in your scene. Something that really is a great workflow. So the next thing we will have a look at is the skybox in Karma. For that approach I'm gonna download here the Cloudscape asset right from the Houdini asset library, the content library. It's open and free for anyone in the that is interested in using Houdini. So while this is downloading, you can see how detailed and how close you can go to the geometry, to the feather geo, that allows you to really implement detail really as much as possible. And with the XPU now set to 1024, we already get very nice details and curves and feather edges, and yeah, something that really makes the grooming part for feathers so much more easier and available for character animations. So right in Houdini, in the skybox example, we can see that here the skybox has base and height difference and is then combined in a VDB to merge the base clouds with height variations. And this is what we get when we load the VDB into the scene. And I will go to the LobNet and see what it gives us. So far above the clouds you can see here that this VDB scene in LOBS in the Karma Hydra Delegate Solaris setup took around 4 minutes 25 seconds with a sample range of 128 samples. And we can see that also the optics pretty much kicked in to reduce the noise in the scene. And I will go up to a much higher value now to show you how amazing and fast this new Karma render delegate is here with the Houdini 20 release. So the rendering is almost done, and now it's nice and warm in the house because of the graphics card that was producing so much heat and energy to render this awesome image here. And I used a path trace of 1024 samples and also hired the light sampling quality to 5. And when you look at the final image now, you can see that we have a lot of detail in the different edges and the transparency layers and the volumetric elements, and it's just so much fun and amazing to use Karma with clouds. And also gonna make a snap here from our clouds, and you can see here how beautiful this looks. So definitely dig into the clouds in Karma Houdini 20, and let's go to another scene to show you what's possible with this awesome release. So let's have a look at those zombie crowds with now cloth integration, which was lovely made by Wurawola Mai. Sorry for the mispronunciation, which was lovely made by Wurawola. And we will have a look now at the scene here, and you can see how they dance and shake to the rhythm of the music. Pretty much looks like a step-by-step dancing introduction for the heat in the desert valley. And we also have some dancing crowd in the background. Also somebody is looking for bear on the ground if there's something to drink, and fun by sight. So let's take this and have a look at how it's looking in Houdini and how fast the rendering is. So ladies and gentlemen, for the time being, I think it really makes sense to put the zombie presentation into a second part, and from that point I want to finish the first part now of the Houdini 20 short presentation, because there's so much content actually that needs a more part tutorial session to cover all this. But I hope you got a little insight of what this awesome and marvelous spectacular release brought to the VFX Unity and community. And I think it really makes sense to have a look at all the new learning and animations on the sidefx website to get a look inside of what is here for your creation of the imagination. So what I also maybe want to mention, that the hair and groom is also in the Karma delegate now, with a hair and fur shader, the muscle and skin, the crowd setup with the arrow system, and the XPU in short, with parity, volume, snow, and everything here, pyro shaders, IES lights. So definitely check this release out, it will blow your mind. And I thank you for this time you attended this little showcase, and I hope you got excited as I did, and see you in the next part, and wish you a great day. Stay safe, and see you soon.